8 signs of a poorly educated individual. Before starting the video, do subscribe. Wouldn't it be nice if everyone thought we were smart instead of thinking we're uneducated? Well, there are certain things that might make people see us that way. But don't worry if you didn't know about them before, because now you will. Do you know what those things are? Probably not. But don't worry, we have a list of 8 signs that might make people think you're uneducated, along with some helpful tips on how to avoid them. Sound good? Let's get started. 1. They are judgmental. Have you ever met someone who always seems to judge others and can't stop criticizing everything people do? They never say anything positive, no matter how much effort someone puts into a task. You might wonder if this person is just hard to please, with very high standards and expecting everyone else to meet them. But here's the thing, people with high standards are different from overly critical individuals. In fact, most people who are overly judgmental and critical of others are often guilty of the same things they criticize. So, if you're stuck with someone like this, it might be best to keep some distance from them. 2. They talk first and think later. People who may not have had much education often make the mistake of speaking without really thinking about what they're saying. Smart people know that you shouldn't just blurt out everything that comes to mind. It's important to take a moment to think before speaking. For example, we can ask ourselves questions like, is this the right thing to say right now? Or how will my words affect the other person? This not only shows that a person is emotionally intelligent, but also that they put effort into their thinking process. And over time, this kind of thoughtful approach can make a person smarter. 3. They don't form their own opinions. Isn't it frustrating to see someone blindly accepting other people's opinions without checking if it makes sense to them? Your opinions should come from what you truly believe and think as a person. When you just adopt someone else's opinions without thinking about them, you end up living someone else's life, and their opinions start controlling your decisions. Forming your own opinions is an important way to understand yourself and become more self-aware. But when someone who hasn't had much education lets other people's opinions, assumptions, myths, or unverified information influence and control their life choices, it becomes difficult for them to know who they really are. 4. They are easily influenced by others. A clear sign that someone might not have had much education is when they easily get influenced by what others say and do. Now, it's normal for all of us to be influenced by people around us, even if we don't realize it. But it becomes a problem when you can't make important decisions without asking others for their input, or when you let other people's opinions dictate how you live your life. Let's try a quick experiment to see how much you might be influenced by others. First, do you often feel like you need to make others happy? Second, do you worry a lot about upsetting people? And how often do you say no to people? Or is it hard for you to say yes when you really want to say no? The answers to these questions will help you understand how much you're bothered by what others think and how it affects your lifestyle and choices. 5. They lack self-awareness. When you lack self-awareness, it means you don't really understand how your emotions, habits, and daily life are connected. You might not realize how your feelings can impact your decisions and, in turn, affect your life. Not knowing who you truly are makes personal growth harder. It's like trying to become a better person without a clear picture of yourself. Becoming self-aware means looking deep inside yourself to discover what makes you unique and understanding your strengths and weaknesses. Some people who haven't had much education take this step and find out things about themselves that they don't like. Instead of trying to change, they hide these uncomfortable truths deep down and hope they never come up again. But if they don't face these issues, they can still affect their life, decisions, and relationships in subtle ways. To truly grow, it's important to confront and deal with these aspects of ourselves. 6. They don't learn from their mistakes. Making a mistake once is okay because everyone makes mistakes, right? Even making the same mistake twice can be understood as needing some time to improve. But when someone keeps making the same mistake a third time, there's a problem. People who haven't had much education tend to repeat their mistakes because they don't take the time to figure out what caused the mistake in the first place. If you don't understand why you're doing something wrong, there's a good chance you'll keep making the same mistake until you figure out the reason. 7. They talk more than they listen. Have you ever met someone who just keeps talking and talking without letting others speak? It can be really annoying, right? We all feel that way sometimes. Nobody likes a friend who only talks about themselves all the time, like their new shoes, their recent partner, or their trip to Bali. We all want friends who will also listen to us when we need to talk, someone who understands how important it is to be a good listener. 8. They look down on others. Once, we heard a cool quote that said, "Never look down on others unless you are taller than them." But don't worry, it was just a joke. The truth is, it's never okay to treat others as if they are less important than you, no matter their status. Someone who hasn't had much education might disrespect a bartender or anyone else they think is below them in status, but that's not the right way to treat people. We should always treat others with respect and kindness, no matter who they are. Thank you for spending time with us today. And if you liked this, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to stay updated, and remember to subscribe.